And now, American Beauty if everyone was Japanese. Ballin' out, ballin' out, ballin' out. Super!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ballin' Out
Super!
Super duper.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Jeremy Hammond, and joining me as always are my co-hosts, Katie Rose Leon.
It's so good to be sweaty and incoherent with my friends in the anime room.
And Alex Patak.
I'm the cartoon version of Chris Evans.
And our special guest today from the Chapo Trap House podcast, it's Matt Christman.
Hi.
Wait, real fast. Is the cartoon version of Chris Evans just Captain America?
Yeah, well, that's who I thought the guy in the show was. He just seemed like Chris Evans.
I wrote him as Ryan Gosling, but I feel like that makes more sense.
Ooh, I was thinking like a Hemsworth.
Ryan Gosling doesn't like shill out like that. You know, he's not just gonna do anything.
Matt, what Hollywood hunk did you think he was based on?
Who was based on?
The blonde fella.
That's not a character on the show?
Oh no,
We just met him.
yeah.
I guess he's just supposed to be a Hollywood Weisenheimer. I don't know.
His name's Barry. He's played by Bill Hader. He's a new character we're gonna know and love. Now, this was your first episode of anime you've ever seen.
Any anime ever. And I'm regretting not sticking to my principles of never watching anime.
They said it would never happen.
You know,
and you broke down for this?
well, people often wonder, am I being too rigid? Should I expose myself to new things? And the answer is no. If your instincts tell you to stay away from something, they're probably right. And I was right about anime. Frankly, I'm never going to watch any more for the rest of my life, and I'm annoyed. And I'm honestly annoyed now that I'll never be able to say, as I could before today, that I've never seen any, because I used to keep that as a point of pride, and now I have to be like, oh, actually, I've watched one anime.
That's like how I used to win Never Have I Ever, because I would say I have never used a porta potty, but then one fucking punk show too many, and I
wasn't worth it, was it?
Yeah, because now I have a fucking asterisk on my no anime streak.
Except for the filler episode of Dragon Ball Super where they start recording a movie. You know, that famous episode?
I feel like I feel very torn here, because on one hand it's like I feel like we've done a great disservice because maybe we should have just shown you a good episode of anime, but on the other hand I am a full supporter of like not everything's for everyone, and I am, even though I like anime, I am not about to be that person like, what?
Well, my long-standing theory is that anime was actually developed by Unit 731 during World War II, and it was supposed to destroy America's birth rates. But it got out of containment and got into the water supply, which is why no one in Japan is under 40 years old.
There's some merit
and
to
now
those
it's
theories.
once again been confirmed. Because if you watch this, how do you ever fuck? Like, if this is what you watch, how do you ever have an adult relationship?
You fuck other fat goth girls.
I would actually like to direct you to an article on returnofkings.com. About how to get laid at anime conventions.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the Americans still do it, but I think if you're marinating in it like the Japanese are, you have no hope.
Matt has a great point, because that article, as is covered in the Patreon, is about infiltrators going to places where no fucking is happening and adding fucking.
Just showing up and being like, have you guys heard about this crazy thing called fucking?
So I don't know. Where's the Goku? Where is he?
Goku
That's like
was not in this
I don't watch anime, but of course I'm exposed to it in the culture, so I know who Goku is, and he wasn't there. I don't understand.
Had the unfortunate luck of the draw to be on a full-on filler episode, which is that they have to keep churning these out so they don't have to pay their writers and animators to not work.
Yeah, the filler episode format does feel like a labor exploiting thing to me, where it's like, we're not going to have a week where these don't come out. Just do an episode where bullshit happens.
It's like if you work at a fast food place and you're standing there and they go, if you've got time enough to lean, you've got time enough to clean. we have this space rented for the week. You're writing an episode.
If you got time to lean, you can explore Gohan's marriage. Get in
Who's
there.
Gohan? I don't get this.
Okay, wait. I have an idea. So
Okay.
normally when we do the first half of the show, we interview our guests about their history about anime. But since you have zero history, I would like to hear.
I had a pristine record before
Listen,
today.
I'm here here to take down all men. I'm here to ruin reputations and fuck up clout. You get within me, you lose 50 Twitter followers immediately.
Oh, no. I didn't know this about Katie.
Yeah, too bad, baby.
Oh, no. I needed those.
I think instead we should explore the history of resisting it.
Okay.
Oh, resisting
Right.
anime. That's very smart.
Okay, so take us back to a young Matt Christman. You're in school. You must have known people who liked anime.
Not really.
No?
I'm thinking back to it. No, I mean, I'm from the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. We didn't get anime until like the 2000s, I don't think. There were no weebs in my school. Nobody was into that shit.
And so by the time they were coming around and starting to pop up in middle of nowhere Wisconsin, you're already in your Thunderbird.
I'm already fully committed to not fucking with this shit. I'm honestly trying to remember the first time I even saw anime, and I can't think of it. Like,
I mean, it's now, right now.
no, I mean, like to be aware of it. I mean, we had Pokemon. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Never mind. Yes, Pokemon was it. And yes, other kids played Pokemon, but I thought it was dumb, and the cartoons looked like shit. And so I was like, "Fuck this!" And I never did Pokemon. I didn't get the cards. I never did any of that. I didn't do Pogs. I didn't have the cards. I didn't do any of those things that were. A lot. I'm kind of stupid. Like my friends did Magic the Gathering, and I could never figure out how to like. I couldn't. It seemed too complicated.
That's definitely anime adjacent. Magic
Yeah.
Together.
It's all too complicated.
I would take my friends' magic cards and I would make it rain with them and make them all very upset.
I think what happened was I saw the Pokemon. I saw Ash. I think I actually sat down to watch an episode of Pokemon once as a kid. I'm actually getting a recovered memory right now.
I'm just imagining a
about
child
this.
being like, I'm sitting down to try this. I don't like it.
No, I honestly think that's what happened because, yes, all the kids had Pokemon cards, and it was the thing, and there was a show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to sit down. And I think I watched the first episode, or I tried to watch the first episode. And it just looks stupid. And I didn't like, everyone was yelling, and I didn't like the voices, and I didn't like the dumb faces everyone made, and the way they would, like, jump up and down and move their arms. And it just looked really, I guess I just felt like I was too sophisticated for it. I don't know.
So, what were you consuming instead of this? Because it sounds like you're making a comparison. So,
Yeah, I guess so.
What were you into at the time as a young, I'm assuming, nerd?
I'm trying to think what I watched instead of anime. I don't know.
Or if not you, what were the people who would be watching anime watching in the Midwest in the 90s? That's what I'm curious about. Is it like 80s style nerddom with beakers and like thick glasses?
Making women in computers.
No, it was a lot. Pokemon was a big part of it, and like I said, Magic cards and.
So were we Dungeons and Dragonings? Were we doing early computer?
There are no
gaming?
dungeons in the Midwest. It's flat lands. There would be
There are
nowhere
no
to hide such a place.
basements. There's no sub basement.
I don't know. I didn't do anything. I'm thinking back on it. I didn't really have interests.
I'm sorry.
Like, I'm not kidding.
We don't need to dig into
No,
this.
I mean, this is sort of upsetting to think about, but I'm trying to think about.
Don't look away.
I didn't have a thing. Like, I wasn't a guy who had a thing. I didn't have interests. I just kind of like was there. I was just a total like replacement level human being.
You were like a complimentary figure. You could enhance other
You were a
experiences.
I guess.
non-player character.
Yes, that's what I was.
Just
Because I'm
wearing
thinking
a
about
red
it.
shirt and being like this way to the.
Yeah, I had no interior life. I didn't have any interests. I didn't play video games really.
And everyone who talks to you just accidentally hits A again, and they're just like, "No, this again."
Yeah.
It's
No.
too bad you haven't seen Pokemon because the best comparison is definitely like the kid who's like, I saw a fish, and then you fight him.
I just found it. I found it alienating in a way that I don't know if I've ever articulated. I think it actually started. My sort of antipathy to anime is rooted in the fact that when I sat down to expose myself to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they would have the teens, and then something would happen, and they would cut to them fighting, and I was like, that's Japan. That's not the United States. Like I had a preternatural ability to tell that was not that's like they're trying to fool you into thinking, yeah, these are the same people. It's like, no, that's clearly from a different show, from some weird foreign culture that I do not understand.
Were you?
It's the same way that I knew instinctively that Mentos commercials were not made in the United States.
Where are Mentos commercials?
They were German.
Oh yeah, they're
What?
So,
You could totally tell.
yeah, they're
They were
European as
obviously
hell.
European. There was
Yeah.
not a moment of a Mentos commercial is American.
Freshmaker, that's like the most European things. Like, yeah.
Das
like,
Frischmacher. But
All those
if you wa-
windmills.
but like just the way that they would look, the way they smiled, the way the grain of the film.
Yeah.
I had an instinctive knowledge. Mentos commercials were European. That's why none of them said anything. And that same sort of like basal, back of the brain sort of reptilian response happened with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like that's Japan. And I just didn't like that. I thought I was getting tricked. And therefore I didn't like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I think I transferred that distrust to anime.
Right.
Because it gave me the same feeling. Watching anime gave me the same weird, dislocated
They're
feeling.
definitely
because they're
friends
speaking
together.
English, but they're clearly not American. I feel like they're trying to trick me. I think that's the fundamental thing. I don't trust it.
If they were American, why would they be posing so much?
Yeah, just the whole thing just felt wrong, and it's like, I guess it's small-minded or something, but I guess it's not necessarily this is a foreign culture. It's that it felt to me like subterfuge.
It's an aesthetic betrayal.
And that is why I never trusted anime, because it felt like they were lying to me at a fundamental level.
You know what? As a kid, I hated the never-ending story, and when I found out it was just a bunch of weirdo Germans, I'm like, that makes sense.
What?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, haven't you ever read the end credits never-ending story? That lead kid was the only English actor in that entire movie.
This is eye-opening.
Is that Wolfgang Peterson? Did he direct that?
Yeah, that's why it's like that song sounds like Eurobeat.
That song is a Eurovision Song Contest
Yeah.
entrant for sure.
I'm not making
Never
this up.
ending story.
It's like the
No, not an American. Yeah, not a blues-based rock and roll culture.
The never-ending story. Ba-na-na-na-na.
I like how you're always like, I'm not singing on this podcast anymore, and then you find every opportunity to sing on this podcast.
It's different when I want to sing, Katie.
So I'm curious then. You didn't have interest as a kid. You kind of felt yourself kind of going through the motions, not really having like a thing necessarily. Like, when in your life did you feel like you became a person with a thing?
I don't think I ever got a thing.
Oh, no.
I don't think I ever was a guy with a thing.
I think that's a lie.
I just don't have like the. I guess I just don't have the. I don't have the commitment. I'm
I
just too
literally
weak-willed.
accidentally read an essay by you today, just like on the internet. I was just like passing time at work, and then I read something, and then you had written it. So like that's just bullshit.
I think everyone's written something on the internet. I mean,
fair.
Okay.
That's fair. That actually is
Yeah,
fair.
I guess
Everybody
that's
has
true.
written something.
I was about
on
to
the
get
internet.
sassy, and I'm like, well, technically, yes, I have.
Did you
yeah,
ever have
exactly.
like a live journal or something?
I had a blog.
Okay, on like a blog or a blog spot.
Yeah, it was Blogspot. Yeah, it was really
Real
bad.
practical.
It was
What
terrible.
was it about?
It was like it was my cracked my fractured take on the political scene.
Yes.
So
Twisted even.
yeah, I guess like that's the thing. It's like if I think about it, like what is my thing? Like politics, but like that's pathetic to have that be your thing. That's an awful thing to have. That
I swear
sucks.
to God, we didn't like invite you on the show to break
No,
you as a man.
you're honestly, you've crushed me, and it really. I'm having an existential moment here. Now I feel like a callow monster. Honestly,
I think you're just a man of leisure.
I feel like one of T.S. Eliot's hollow men. Headpiece filled with straw. God damn.
You could go
I'm
the
Nietzsche's
other-
last man. I'm just sitting there, the last man watching anime and blinking. God damn
I
it.
could try to make
Thanks
you
a lot,
feel
fucking
better,
guys.
but,
Jesus. I
think
really
we're getting
wasn't.
a lot better content out of the you wallowing.
I was not. I didn't sign up for this. That's not what I thought I was going to do here. So thank you all for this moment.
you know, I've
Just
had
a
a lot.
hollow fucking vessel for other people's ideas and horseshit.
Why do I keep having this effect on men? I'm just like, so good to see you. And they're like, you know what? I just thought about how everyone's going to die someday, and I haven't really done shit. I'm like, cool. So drinks or what are we doing?
What are we doing here?
Katie, I've been thinking about your poetry a lot, and I'm moving out of town.
They read my live journal? Didn't know that thing was still up
Jeremy,
there.
do you have an internet writing presence, like outside of Twitter?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had a web comic for a while.
Oh, okay, that definitely fucking counts.
Yeah, I had a web comic that was an alternate Star Wars story.
Jesus, I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude.
This goes all the way down.
Yeah, I had an alternate Star Wars webcomic about journalists covering the Galactic Civil War, and it happened for a while, and then it went away, and things are better without it.
I also had a webcomic.
You did?
Yeah, I had several.
You had a few, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mine
did-
was about a man in a tiny caterpillar suit that dropped out of law school.
That sounds good as hell. I'm more interested in hers than yours so far. You can sell me on the execution, I guess.
Well, it was it had beautiful art, I think. It was done by my friend Andy, who did our crazy shirt with all the characters on it.
Oh yeah, it's good as hell, man.
He's so good.
And our number one search term on our website was Twi'lek porn, which I don't know if you guys remember the Twi'leks. They're the alien race with the tentacles on their heads.
They have,
They're the
like-
hottest non-human race in the Star Wars universe.
They're
They
like
definitely are, because they're the most human one.
Exactly.
they're like if humans were more soft.
Do you think they get sick of it when they're just trying to get their drink on and just some fucking colonist spaceman is like, wow, you just look so exotic?
They get really sick of humans asking to touch their
their
tentacles.
I love your music.
I love the way you dance for Jabba the Hutt. Kit Fisto was one of those.
I don't
Wasn't
know
he?
what Kit Fisto is, because Kit Fisto has different
He's-
eyes than everybody
But
else.
he had the squid head, right?
He does have the squid
Is he
head,
not
yeah.
the same race as that?
I think he's a different race.
Oh, right. That's more squid. You're right. That's more tentacles.
He's got more tentacles.
Because that one's just two, and he has a bunch.
You guys remember Kit Fisto?
Hey, what race are you? Kid
I
Fisto?
just enjoy Kid Fisto's name. Because you know he named that one at the end of the day. Fuck it, Kid Fisto. The same day he named them the Mon Calamari. What am I calling the squid race? Fuck it.
Well, you seem like you're a Star Wars fan.
I mean, but that's just the thing. You can't, like, it's just cultural wallpapers everywhere. You can't avoid it. It's like, I don't think it's good, but that's why I'm having this crisis moment of how much shit I've consumed in my life where I have no real feelings towards, that just sort of fills my face hole. Just like, oh, there's a Star Wars, I'll watch that. Oh, there's a Marvel movie, I'll watch that. Oh, when do I die again?
Like if you only ate spaghetti your entire life.
And
No.
what?
Well, there's no real protein or like actual passion inside of you. It's just noodles all the way down.
I'll have you know that my mama's sauce is so good and passionate.
Got some Mon Calamari on the show right
It's
now.
kind of like how every time I send a tweet out, I'm like, this is the one that saves me from death, baby.
Oh, boy. All right, should we get into this episode?
Okay, I gotta
Yeah,
figure
what the
out-
fuck was that?
Howdy, folks. It's me, Roseanne, and I'm here to give you a little bit of sweetened sugar for your ear, so listen up. I just got through my racist stuff saying meetings, and people would not stop talking about this hot new podcast, Ballin Out Super. I had to go tell my husband, Dad, that he's too busy blacking out in the garage and needs to hear all the new podcasts you can find. You should support it by paying for just $5 buckaroonies for their Patreon. Oh boy, I'm gonna go buy a new house with money I got for saying the N-word in a private meeting. Ta-ta for now.
The title of this episode is Gohan's Plight. The preposterous Saiyan Man adaptation. That's right, live from Reddit. It's an episode of Dragon Ball.
Sometimes a marriage is hard. And this is an episode about that.
We open up in space. We're eating ramen. In space, there's a squid serving ramen to Jocko, which seems very upsetting to me. Kind of how Bessie the cow used to sell cheese, and Elmer's on glue.
Jocko, the intergalactic patrolman.
There's a lot of pigs in this episode, fam.
it's like-
That
the
was
first-
one thing that was really what told me that everything I thought about anime was true, because I always had associated it with people eating. Like, isn't that a thing where people are always stuffing things in their face?
Yeah.
Everyone
And the
eats,
first
like,
thing they show
monsters.
is a dude slurping a bunch of noodles.
Here's the thing,
They
though.
make that noise every time too.
I think anime food looks delicious.
It
Hell yeah,
does,
pimp.
yeah.
It does look good.
You know why? It's so flat. You can eat so much of it.
So, Jocko being, so mired in the institution and being protected, he's fucking off from work even though he has a prisoner in his car. And the squid's like, hey, you should probably, go put that dude in space jail. And he's like, nah.
He can rot back there.
His name is Wadaga?
Wadaga.
I'm sure that'll be
Whataburger.
important in 3 episodes.
He's a different tiny squid. He's a smaller squid, and they keep him in like a glass.
So Whataburger is in a glass, and he breaks out. What a surprise. Cut to the show starting.
Oh, wait, no, but the one last thing in that scene is that after the prisoner breaks out, Jocko tries to get the ramen cook to falsify his statement.
He's like immediately like, you have to lie for me, man. I can't fucking take a hit like this at the station again.
They're going to take my fucking badge. I got a wife and kids at home.
They're gonna put me in the rubber room for talking out.
You know that guy's got a throwdown ray gun to drop on suspects who he shoots who are unarmed.
He
like
had
that-
a beam gun. You saw it.
It's like Bad Lieutenant in space.
There was a different episode, too, that was just him going outside of the law and just beating the shit out of criminals to get the info he wants. So he's like that kind of cop. He's the kind of cop Serpico wants out of the station. And they're 3
Why are there
weeks from getting
aliens,
body
though?
cameras.
Why are there aliens on it? I thought it was about people fighting on Earth.
Well, technically, the main characters are aliens.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're
Okay.
humans, but they have monkey tails, and then so they're different.
And sometimes when they look at the moon, they turn into giant gorillas.
All right. Okay.
Again,
I'm sorry I asked.
it's not going to tie
You know
back
what?
in.
I'm not going to ask any more questions. I don't want to open any more bags.
No, we're gonna get them all open.
We
We're
have a
gonna-
room full of bags. You got to keep opening these. Okay, so Jocko goes away, and he does not come back for a while, which is
Yeah,
good, because
we-
I am sick of his shit.
We cut to Gohan in his mansion. He's working on his screenplay or some shit, and Videl shrieks, and we find that there is a trailer for a Saiyan Man movie. Who's in the Saiyan Man movie? Fucking Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling, blonde man, who says the most popular actor on Earth.
Yeah.
And Teen Idol, Ariana Grande. And
You also, at this point, though, I am wondering, like, is this how movie commercials work in Japan? Because you never are watching the commercial for, like, Batman or something, and it's like, and Batman's played by our handsome actor you love.
I actually kind of think they are like that, though.
Yeah.
I have seen some.
They're just like constantly pitching you on the fact that this guy is like super famous and beloved.
Well, like they'll make the actor the centerpiece as opposed to the character they're playing.
Right, but they don't say it, and the actor doesn't spin dramatically towards the camera and give a thumbs up. Super weird.
I don't know, man. We dropped a bomb on that country.
It just doesn't seem real. He dropped a bomb on that country.
Also, who's in it? Mr. Satan playing himself. So Videl is like, well, it's kind of weird. My dad didn't tell me he's in a movie about my fucking
Wait a minute, that guy's
husband."
his dad?
That
That's
guy.
Father-in-law.
And he's Satan?
His name is Mr. Satan. It's one of
Dr.
those.
Satan from
He's kind of-
10,000 Corpses House?
No, he's more of like a Hulk Hogan character.
That's why his voice
He's
sounds
like that character if he didn't get his PhD.
Why is he the devil?
It's like a Japanese translation thing more than anything.
Okay.
Like in the English version, for a while they just addressed him as Hercule. I think because it's closer to Hercules. And then after a while they're like, "Fuck, you guys all found us on the internet, Mr. Satan. His name's Mr. Satan." In Japan, it makes sense. We're moving forward.
The one thing I gathered is that the nerd who watched the trailer is Saiyan Man, right?
Yes.
In high school, he used to dress up and fight crime because he has these superpowers, but has to fit himself into capitalist society and go to school and then work at a very vague job later for the rest of the show.
Yes.
So wait a minute. So he has superpowers, but he doesn't use them on the show?
Well, he had a very bad dad that put him in death's way over and over again, and his dad kept abandoning him to go work out in outer space and with dead people and fight devil aliens and stuff, and he just wanted a better life for his kids, a more settled down one.
Does that answer your question?
Sure. So this is meta. This is a meta episode.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is actually a very meta episode. Gohan is Goku's son.
This is
Goku, your friend from Twitter.
This is so. This is basically an anime version of Francois Truffaut's Day for Night. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
why didn't we say that at the beginning?
We got to re-record the cold open.
They just added this to Criterion. You guys got Filmstruck? Just check it out.
Oh God, do you think the Dragon Ball is in Library of Congress?
Maybe.
Well, considering all the tweets that are and all the people who tweet as Goku, then it definitely is.
That was the one thing George W. Bush added.
George W. Bush
I got a thing I like.
library of all anime tapes.
Don't tell people about this.
He of all presidents, he definitely seems like the most likely to be an anime fan.
Yeah, dude, he works out. He's like kind of just a big soft dork.
I think you guys are overthinking it. I think he just likes bright colors and fucking,
That too. And explosions, as we found out.
Matt, do you have an opinion on which president you think would most likely be an anime fan?
I think Teddy Roosevelt would definitely be an anime fan. He's got weeb written all over him. Asthmatic nerd who spent his entire childhood in his bedroom.
He does love exotic wildlife.
Loves exotic wildlife in weird foreign countries. He had a bunch of very weird pets in the White House. Yeah, he would fucking love anime.
He would love Pokemon for sure.
He loves masculinity.
Yeah, what were his big game hunts but Pokemon? He was collecting them all. He was collecting them all.
Fucking crazy unhinged trainer just kills the Pokemon.
I found you, and I shot your mom.
What happens next, Katie?
I'm trying because I have all these stacks of paper. I wasn't prepared. Okay.
They go to the
then
film shoot.
Yeah, they go to the film shoot. There's screaming fans. They're like, Barry, because that's the actor's name. They're like, Barry, what made you want to do a movie of a character that's had zero cultural impact? And they stare directly into the camera. And he goes, it's called acting. Look it up.
Yeah, dude.
Barry fucking rules. I like Barry a lot.
Yeah,
I hope he
I
comes
like
back in
Barry.
the show.
I'm not a big fan of his rapey tendencies, but that's
he's
fine.
he's like real problematic is the thing with Barry.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get into that like right now.
Yeah,
but.
Barry yells at the cuck AD and the director when then Gohan, Videl, and Mr. Satan are just casually walking through the lot, which, by the way, Matt made an excellent point. Why are they shooting the movie that they had already put a trailer out for?
Yeah.
That was very confusing.
And
Yeah.
the big problem he had on set was like, I didn't like your trailer, so we'll shoot it again. It's like,
And
it's reshoots. They had to
someone-
fire James Gunn, and now they have to reshoot the movie.
Ariana Grande has been, she's mired in the patriarchy and hasn't escaped her way out of it. So she's attracted to strong men who are unavailable to her. So she's flirting with Mr. Satan.
That's true.
And Mr. Satan tries to tell her that Gohan is the real Saiyan man, and Videl is not having it. She's like, he's a real man. He's got a fake job at a university, and he raised his family. He doesn't care about fame.
Well, he's blowing the secret. The whole thing is the Great Saiyan Man is his secret identity that he can't let get out, or else the show will be slightly more interesting. So 20 years later, Mr. Satan's going to blow this off the lid just because he bought the Great Saiyan Man property from Disney right now for this movie. It's fucking dumb. I got mad at Mr. Satan for that. But he's trying to fuck this 20-year-old girl. So, props for that, I guess, because he's like 80 years old. And he's still in films. Very impressive. And then I think out of the whole episode, this is the part I was most into, which is Barry, who is an actor drunk on his own power, sees Videl with her husband holding a baby, and like pretty much to her face is just like, I want to fuck you.
Yeah, he's like, what's up, baby? Who represents you? Who's your, he's just like spitting.
He's
that
got game.
jive.
Yeah. He's got lines.
I wouldn't say he has game, but he's doing it.
You wouldn't be sold by the line, who represents you? Because you're so beautiful, you would be represented?
Yes. And and he goes, I'll give you my autograph anywhere on your body you like. And she's like,
Great
I'm
line.
good. And then his fragile masculinity is spread like dust to the wind.
Kind of in a way you think like, oh, well, that's kind of funny and won't come back, but then does in a big way. Surely Barry, this character who won't have more than 5 lines, is not important to the show.
Gohan, being the rape apologist he is, goes, you should have humored him.
Go back to his trailer. I need this. I need to live.
Our daughter needs to see that I'm strong.
And then Videl goes, you're the only person I look up to. And then there's a really long, strange pause, and then they laugh.
Yeah,
They
what
laugh.
was that? There was that weird, just like moment of silence where the two of them look at each other and giggle a little bit.
Now, when you've been in a relationship after a certain amount of time, you're going to get some giggles on some non-punchlines, okay? And that's what this is.
We get it. You're in love.
You're going to get some laughs on just like, oh,
I
your
get
brother's mountain skiing again.
The two of you on my fucking anime podcast are both engaged to wonderful, amazing women, and I sweated through this dress today. So they're filming stunts, and Barry's just like throwing his dick around and telling the stunt man to do something really elaborate and dangerous, like punching through an actual tank and shit.
Right, and they find out Barry doesn't do his own stunts, which is like, wow, I thought he was cool.
I thought he was Jackie Chan.
If he was Brendan Fraser, he'd do his own stunts.
Does Brendan Fraser do his own stunts?
I think he does. I think that's one of his things.
What?
And then in the live-action Looney Tunes movie, they had a joke about Brendan Fraser not doing his stunts. I think because it's a well-known Hollywood secret that Brendan Fraser does his own stunts.
Yeah, I read a really kind of heartbreaking article about how fucked up he is now.
Yeah, he's
His body's all...
talk about Looney Tunes.
His body has been ravaged by his commitment to his craft.
You see that?
What?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he got Me Too'd by
Oh, no.
some perverted Hollywood guy, and it messed him up. It's actually a heartbreaking tale.
It's wrong to Me Too men with bad knees. I've always said that.
Alex Patak.
That will definitely make the final cut of this episode. And that's what I like about it.
Gohan's like, actually, I could do that shit easily. And then
he does.
well, okay, yes. But, like, Barry's like, they're like, you're not, like, the director goes, you're not a trained stuntman. This is dangerous. And Barry's like, let him do it.
I hope you like seeing your
he
husband
says-
murdered.
He literally goes in a voiceover, embarrass me, will you? Hope you enjoy seeing your husband get horribly misfigured.
Which is the part of the show where Barry goes from being like a background character, like, oh, Barry's a main villain that we're going to see over and over. He's trying to ruin people's lives. It's also funny they let him in there because there's just like no unions in Japan. And if the hot dog guy really wants to jump into a tank, he can.
It goes all the way to the top, Funimation. Blink twice if you're in danger. And then, yeah, that's when the commercial break happens and Jeremy turns to Alex and he goes, this is a good episode. I'm like, is it?
A lot of tension here, actually. This is good.
Okay.
Very interesting things going on here.
All right.
We should speed through the rest of this.
All right, he does it. Everyone kicks Gohan's ass. Barry yells. George Lucas yells at Barry because he loves it.
Oh, by the way, George Lucas is in the film.
Yeah, George Lucas is the director, but also Kevin Smith is the director.
Kevin Smith is the AD.
But there's another AD.
He wants to see how the sausage is made. There's always 2 ADs, Jeremy, you slut.
Gohan agrees to be the stunt man because it makes Videl and Mr. Satan horny. They're both so horny for it. Gohan walks into the street with some vague packages and thinks about his life. He thinks back to earlier and how they all begged him. Bank robbery happens and they're shooting. Who's there? Krillin in full SWAT gear.
If you're just tuning in, Krillin is a full-on policeman now. That is the newest development of the show. It doesn't matter that he can kill people with his hands or slice open mountains with discs he makes out of thin air.
Yeah, you remember your adorable little friend Krillin? Now he's a soldier of the state.
Yeah, well, you know how, like, you leave town and then you go back home to visit your friends? And you're like, how you doing, man? And then you find out that your, like, comrade is now fucking straight up joined the military and is, like, cut all his hair.
Yeah, I'm the bad prison guard now. That's kind of my thing is I'm the one you're not supposed to like. But it's Krillin, the one character they didn't give normal eyes.
Krillin's, like, dodging some bullets, all snippety snap, and, because Gohan's having a life crisis. He puts on the Saiyan Man costume, kicks down the wall. crushes that little man. And then the crooks remember him from 900 episodes ago.
And we're supposed to also.
Which, like, fuck you.
From the last time Great Saiyaman was the main point of the show. Remember that?
Then, all of a sudden, remember there's a plot? That pink space squid comes back and climbs up one of their asses and makes him into a buff Moogle.
Yeah, they like skipped over that, but it was like the thing going up his leg and then his face looking very mad, and then he got superpowers, and it's like, oh god.
And I think this was, in my opinion, the most anime thing that happened in this episode.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And so I'm
anal
wondering,
play?
Matt, like at the point where the criminal became buff and powerful, like where were you at emotionally?
I was just glad something was happening.
Right.
I mean, the only thing I knew about this is that there's people fighting over balls or something, and every clip I'd ever seen is somebody like punching with a bunch of lines around it, and the whole first half of it is this like meta Hollywood comedy, and like what the hell was I even watching? And so then when the
That's what
guy
I
had
was
the
wondering.
ass monster and they started fighting, I was like, okay, this is anime. But then it was over very quickly, and then it went back to what it was doing before.
But that's the thing with Dragon Ball, Matt, is it's not famous for the fighting. It's famous for taking a really long time between the fighting. To the point where you'll tune in, if this is like main era Dragon Ball, like the episodes that you would see on like a clip or whatever, it'll be a full half hour of people like talking about how they're about to fight. And then you just have to buy a toy.
Yeah, but these guys were not even talking about fighting. They were talking about, coverage and and like who's a member of the union. I mean, I didn't get it.
It was the behind the scenes look no one asked for.
Yeah, it's like you can do that if you've watched 900 episodes of a thing, but if you've never seen any of it, you can't really get a meta commentary.
When we had Virgil on, it was the episode where everyone stops what they're doing and plays baseball, if that makes you feel any better.
See, that sounds soothing. I think I'd like that.
It was probably a better episode than this one.
To be perfectly honest.
Jeremy gave it the full review. This episode kind of sucked a little bit, but it was cute.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
We're almost
So
to the end.
he tries to shoot a beam, whatever. They go back to the film set. They're all like, oh, you're so great. And he gets all nervous because he realized that he's getting publicity. So Bulma, who owns the movie studio, apparently shows up and comes up with an elaborate lie that the costume is stolen. They go on the roof to thank Bulma for it. And meanwhile,
What
Ariana,
doesn't Bulma own?
she's fucking Elon Musk, dude. She
They
owns
have
it all.
no antitrust laws in the Dragon Ball universe.
But she's not Elon Musk. She's the Shark Tank guy because she owns a film studio and a baseball team.
Mark Cuban. Right?
Mark Cuban.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's Mark Cuban, but Japanese.
She's the plot device fixer. She's whatever you want her to be. And more.
Ariana Grande overhears them on the roof, and then she decides she wants to bone Gohan. So
Right.
she corners him aggressively.
Literally.
and then makes him be her little piss pig so she can fly him through the sky like a skateboard.
Right. Well, she's like, she knows his secret and she blackmails him and she's like, I have something I want. And then it's a sharp cut to her flying on his back, like sitting like cross-legged and
Yeah,
going
like he's like a magic
"Whee!"
carpet.
Yeah, which I think is like a metaphor for the sex they were having because it's a children's show.
Yes.
Unless
I agree.
it would have been better if it was like we were saying while we were watching it, like the next 5 minutes to the end of the show is just them fucking for as long as the rest of the plot took. That would have been funny as hell.
But instead, they took a little too long to do annoying, not very pretty panoramas of them flying to just be suddenly interrupted by fucking Jocko, who's like, I think that pink thing crawled up your ass, Sandman, and I'm gonna blast you with a cannon because intergalactic fascists don't like anal play. And then the episode ends.
He points a gun.
I'm assuming it's a cliffhanger.
You
I
could
hope
call it
so.
that.
It's an incredibly safe cliffhanger.
Do they do that? How many do they end like that? Are they often? How often do they leave you having to watch the next one?
Most times.
Most of the time.
More
Okay.
than not.
Okay, I'm not interested in finding out what happens. Just so anyone is wondering.
Neither am I.
No, it was bad.
Nobody's interested in it. Why do we do this?
Well, you guys can let me know what happens. I'm not going to find out myself.
Life?
Okay, we're pretty over time, so let's just rate the episode and get out of here. Alex, out of 7 Dragon Balls.
Yes, this episode was bad. I did like the sexual tension and look into the toxicity of Hollywood's industry. So 2 out of 7 Dragon Balls.
Katie.
Toxicity of our city?
Of our city.
Our city being Hollywood.
I don't know.
We live in Brooklyn.
This was stupid.
Don't think about it.
This was stupider than normal.
Yeah.
I don't know. 3 Dragon Balls.
Oh.
3. Wow.
I
Very
didn't
generous
like
of you.
it.
Matt, out of 7 Dragon Balls.
Either 0 or 7. I don't know.
It's going to
there's
be a
a
very
big
drastic
difference.
difference.
Well, the thing is, I don't know the context, so it's either very much what it's supposed to be or not, and I can't tell. So
If
either
there's-
0 or 7. It's a quantum state.
It is both 0 and 7.
Exactly.
Do we?
Well, if it's 7, you get a wish.
No, that I don't want. No, I don't want that. I don't want to. I don't want to be brought any more into this realm. So
That's
I'll
very
go with
kind.
0 then.
Okay, 0 stars for Matt.
And I give it a 1 ball. I
Okay.
feel like it was largely shit, and then there was a muscly guy who fought, and that was okay.
I didn't like
Yeah.
that it made Krillin look good.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
All
I feel
Krillins
like,
are bastards.
Yeah, both him and Jocko both looked pretty okay.
Yeah,
in this.
actually, I retract. I want to go back to 1.
Plugs, Alex, what do you got?
Okay, I'm going on a small tour next week, so if you live in Montreal, Boston, Burlington, Vermont, or Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, I'm coming to you. Follow me on Twitter at PatakJokes, and I'll post the dates.
All right, Katie.
You can find me at Twitter at Katie Rose or Instagram at Oh Hello Katie Rose. You could go to Jeremy's show for the hard times at Tender Trap. I won't be on it, but it is on my actual birthday. Weird.
Katie plugs her birthday.
That's this Friday at Tender Trap in Brooklyn at 8 p.m. Matt, what do you got?
I'm supposed to tell everyone to buy the book.
Buy the book.
Buy the
guys.
book.
Buy the book.
I've read most of the book, and it's very good.
Yeah, so I've done my part.
Good job.
And you can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Thunder. Come to the Hard Times show on Friday at Tender Trap. It's 8 p.m. And also check out Katie's My Other Podcast, Pod Minutes of Cast Night. All right, that's it for this week. Join us next week. Super!